Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
The city of Parsons, Kansas votes to extend their mask mandate yet again. I'm Zach Dodge with Why, coming up.
Plus, going to hear from Joplin's mayor on the decision to not renew that city's mask ordinance. Doug Heddy weather, Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. A head-on crash kills an Oronogo, Missouri woman. Missouri State Highway Patrol says 23-year-old Sevy Davison was going northbound in an SUV on Highway 43, 2 miles north of Joplin. She was hit head-on by a pickup driven by 44-year-old Ryan O'Neill of Liberal, Missouri, who was traveling southbound. Davison was pronounced dead at Mercy Hospital. O'Neill was also taken to Mercy Hospital with serious injuries. Davison was wearing a seatbelt. O'Neill was not wearing a seatbelt. Police in Nevada, Missouri arrest a weekend robbery suspect. Authorities say on Sunday, 41-year-old Jeremy Boyd of Mountville robbed the Cash and Dash convenience store at gunpoint. Police arrested Boyd today. Boyd is being charged with first-degree robbery. A utility worker was injured during a natural gas pipeline inspection in Carl Junction. Carl Junction firefighters originally thought the gas line exploded, prompting officials to temporarily evacuate the area. However, Southern Star, the owner and operator of the pipeline, says that while one of the workers was injured, there was not an explosion, just a line break. They say that was a misunderstanding with officials. Around 800 customers of Spire Gas were without natural gas because of this break.
When a technician comes to the house to make sure that we have access to all gas appliances, furnaces, gas water heaters, or any other natural gas appliance that a customer may have.
Southern Star also says the workers' injuries are not life-threatening. Kansas Supreme Court today suspended a judge of the 14th Judicial District, which includes Montgomery County, Kansas, for 1 year. Judge F. William Cullins was suspended for alleged inappropriate conduct and behavior, which allegedly includes racist and sexist remarks made towards defendants and court personnel. Doug Heddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Kind of a dreary day today, but you know what? Kind of looks like a pretty good Saturday, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have the clouds tonight. We're even going to have a little bit of fog out there, but we're going to warm up as we head into the weekend, which is always good. Kind of chilly today. 41 is where we start. 47 for a high, well shy of our average high of 54 degrees. A lot of clouds for us still outside, and it looks like we could get a little bit of drizzle over the next couple hours, and then I think the clouds are really going to break up, and then we're going to get some patchy fog in here a little bit later on tonight. So this wave is moving out. We got another wave which is going to roll in. This is going to roll in tomorrow night into Sunday, just kind of drift out across the Rockies into the Central Plains, but at least ahead of it we're going to warm up. Temps right now mainly into the low to mid 40s. Southerly winds will keep our temperatures up just a little bit for us tonight. Of course, we're going to look at this next storm system here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. A mask mandate in Parsons, Kansas has been extended for the 3rd time. KOAM Zach Dodge has why and what a few residents think about this extension.
Gloria Cunningham Talbot and Wendy Bush may be sisters, but that doesn't mean they share the same beliefs. Does it make things interesting on occasion, though?
On occasion.
Talbot owns Gold and Silver Exchange in Parsons, and Bush works with her every day. Since July of last year, that's included wearing masks all day, something they have differing opinions on.
I feel like it should be a personal choice.
I did have COVID in October, but I was fortunate not to have one of the severe cases. I don't want to be responsible for giving it to someone.
And now the city has decided to extend the mandate. Thursday night, the city commission voted to extend it for the 3rd time into May.
They were one of the first ones to pass it. They always are taking the safety of the citizens in consideration when they make these decisions.
Public Information Officer Jim Zaleski says the number of cases in the community are going down. We have not been able to reach the Labette County Health Department to confirm that, but he says they don't want to see the numbers jump up again.
With fingers crossed, we're watching those cases and numbers go down, but you really want to be on the side of caution. You want to be on the side of safety and the health of the citizens.
Everybody abided for the first time that they wanted everybody to. We all listened to what they had to say. After that, I feel like it should be a personal choice.
I personally will wear it. it is still mandated in our city, so, we should keep doing it.
In Parsons, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
That mask mandate in Parsons has been extended to May 17th, unless commissioners, of course, decide to extend or end it before then. Over in Joplin, the city council there has decided to end the citywide mask mandate. Mayor Ryan Stanley says the mandate that's been in place since November is going to end on Sunday at midnight. He feels comfortable relaxing a few of the restrictions in the city since cases in the area have been on a downward trend and are the lowest we've seen in months.
I would be hesitant to lift it if I thought the risk level was elevated, but we're watching the risk level severely dissipate, not just here, but everywhere. And so I do feel like we're at a point where we can kind of step forward with opening things up a little bit more.
Mayor Stanley says the city council plans to discuss other COVID-19 restrictions like the limit on outdoor gatherings during the city council meeting Monday night. The Joplin Health Department reports another death related to COVID-19. Officials say it was a 42-year-old man. He was a resident of a long-term care facility. This brings the city's total death counts to 124. Crawford County, Kansas Health Department reports 3 new deaths there. That county now has a total of 80 coronavirus-related deaths. An FDA advisory panel endorses Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine, setting up final approval from the administration soon. Also, there are serious concerns about the spread of at least 4 new strains of the virus. Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan has more now from Atlanta.
A new COVID-19 vaccine could soon be in play. The FDA's Vaccine Advisory Panel meeting Friday to give the final green light to Johnson & Johnson's candidate. A major topic at the meeting, whether the vaccine will be effective against the new strains. The South African government switched from AstraZeneca to Johnson & Johnson because it was more effective against the dominant strain there. But health officials here say it is still too early to tell how it will behave against homegrown variants.
Even with decreased effectiveness, vaccination still may provide partial protection.
The newest strain causing concern emerged in New York City. It is similar to the South African variant, and a new study shows it's responsible for at least 13% of new infections in the city. Officials are scrambling to get containment, but they are urging the public not to assume the worst.
It has not changed the reality. It has not changed the impact of the disease.
Meanwhile, the vaccination effort is still expanding. More than 50 million doses have been administered, and the White House says 75% of long-term care facility residents have gotten at least 1 shot. But the COVID response team says it's still too soon for states to start fully reopening.
We are at that very precarious position that we were right before the fall surge. We don't want to be people always looking at the dark side of things, but you want to be realistic.
The Pentagon says it's on track to deliver 30 million doses of the vaccine a week by next month. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Harold Eddy served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 1946. Native of Girard, Kansas, Eddy was stationed in Belgium and Germany. We are proud to thank and salute Harold Eddy. He is tonight's 4 state hero. Doug is on deck with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. The College Heights boys aiming for their first ever district title. Going to have those details in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a gloomy day for us today, but it is Friday. And of course, we've had the clouds all day long for us today. And a little bit of drizzle, random shower or two, but that is just about it. But February, almost done. If we look back at this month, week 1 was pretty good. Week 2 was bad. Week 3 was bad. Week 4 this week, not too bad. 73 on Tuesday. But you can see we've cooled off over the past couple days. But we're going to warm back up as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Currently outside, 44 west winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is high. It's at 85%. I do think we're going to get some fog, which is going to start to build in, especially after midnight for us tonight. So if you are going to be on the roadways late tonight into tomorrow, watch out for that. 38 in Iola, 42 Oswego, Pitt, 42, 45 Miami, 45 in Neosho, 41 in Lamar. And you can see those southerly winds kicking in over the past couple hours. This is going to keep our temperatures up a little bit for us tonight, so we're not going to drop as much as what we did drop over the past couple nights. Look at the clouds, kind of working through, but breaking up a bit on the Kansas side. This will continue over the next couple hours. Nothing really underneath the clouds. We've had a little bit of drizzle, random shower or two, and that is just about it. This system pulling off toward the east. Here's our next system, which will start to affect us as we head into tomorrow night and then into Sunday. So you can see the energy over us, then a break. That's tomorrow's weather, and then the energy dropping into the Pacific Northwest. That's our next little system. Let's go through time. Clouds starting to break up over the next couple hours. And then here comes the fog really building in later on tonight. We'll drop back upper 30s. Fog burns off. Sunshine pops out. We pop into lower 60s and eventually mid 60s by the time we head into the afternoon. 39 to start, 61 by noon. High temp is 66. South winds 5 to 10. But notice how showers start to sneak in by late afternoon into the evening. So we'll have scattered showers during the evening hours. And then as a cold front approaches tomorrow night, we'll get a little line of light showers that work on through. Behind it, northerly winds will clear out a little bit, but I still think a lot of clouds are going to stick around on Sunday. But most of the rain that we see will be during the overnight hours for tomorrow night. Rainfall amounts are going to be very light, a couple hundredths of an inch, maybe a tenth of an inch, a little bit more maybe along and south of Interstate 44, and that should be just about it. Of course, we are heading into severe weather season, so we're going to start breaking down what to expect. We'll do this over the next several nights or when I get back on Monday. But as of right now, the way I see it is the highest threat for severe weather this spring is really from us to the southeast. This is due to my pattern and the way storm systems have been tracking, and they're not really going to change much. But the traditional tornado alley, central Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, the threat's actually going to be a little bit lower. So kind of interesting. It's going to be really from us through the Dixie states this spring. 66 tomorrow, 50 on Sunday, 52 on Monday. Chance for thunderstorms by Thursday.
There's a season for everything, and for us, that includes severe weather, right?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, Doug, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. Coming up, the push for another stimulus bill.
The House vote on the American Rescue Plan is setting up the possibility for President Biden's first signature piece of legislation. I'm Ray Bogan with a look at what's in the bill coming up.
The latest round of stimulus checks worth $600 sent incomes soaring and people shopping. According to the Commerce Department, personal spending rose 2.4% last month. That nearly matched expectations, and incomes jumped 10% thanks to a stimulus check boost. Keep in mind, spending is a closely watched metric because consumers make up about 2/3 of economic activity. House Democrats are on the verge of passing another round of economic stimulus relief, but the final version is expected to be missing a key element. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest on what it does include.
It's President Biden's first signature piece of legislation and a campaign promise. The American Rescue Plan has fallen on partisan lines in Congress, but it's something Democrats insist is needed and wanted by a vast majority of the country.
Delay is not an option. Failure is not an option.
The nearly 600-page bill is comprehensive and includes emergency relief funds for schools, small businesses, and the transportation industry, an extension to expanded unemployment benefits, and funding for vaccines and other medical supplies. That's in addition to countless other items. Republicans say its scope is too big and priced too high.
We already know what is the best stimulus plan out there. It is to fully reopen our economy. To do that, we need our economy to go back to work, back to school, and back to health.
The House bill includes an increase in the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. The wage hike will be taken out when it gets to the Senate because the parliamentarian ruled it's unrelated to the budget. Some House progressives say the parliamentarian should be overruled or fired. But the White House and Speaker Nancy Pelosi say they'll respect the Senate's process.
I don't get involved in the rules of the United States Senate. But as a matter of values, I can just say we will not rest until we pass the $15 minimum wage.
Speaker Pelosi says she won't rest until they pass a $15 minimum wage, meaning if they don't get it approved now, expect to see it in a separate bill later. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Just ahead, going to look at the newly declassified U.S. intelligence report on the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. A long-awaited American intelligence report made public today on the gruesome killing of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. It concludes Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman approved the operation to capture or kill him. Fox News State Department correspondent Rich Edson has more.
The Biden administration releases a long-awaited declassified U.S. intelligence report on the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. It finds the Saudi Crown Prince is responsible. The report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence says, quote, "We assess that Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, approved an operation in Istanbul, Turkey, to capture or kill Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi." The intelligence report says the U.S. based its assessment on the Crown Prince's control over decision-making in Saudi Arabia and the direct involvement of one of his key advisors in the operation. Khashoggi was a 59-year-old U.S. resident and Washington Post contributor. He had criticized the Saudi royal family. Khashoggi entered a Saudi consulate in Turkey on October 2, 2018. He never walked out. A group of assassins killed him and then dismembered his body. His remains were never recovered. Saudi Arabia blamed his death on an operation gone wrong. The U.S. intelligence report goes on to say the Crown Prince viewed Khashoggi as a threat to the kingdom and broadly supported using violent measures, if necessary, to silence him.
We have to be courageous enough as friends to speak candidly and to make clear our concerns.
The decision to release this report could complicate relations between Saudi Arabia and the United States. The Biden administration has already limited arms sales and halted U.S. support for Saudi Arabia in the war in Yemen. At the State Department, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Look at this. Some police officers in Pakistan have a new way of getting around town, catching those bad guys. This story when we come back. A rollerblading task force has been established in Pakistan to fight crime in some of their densely populated neighborhoods. The force is dispatched through parts of the city where conventional police vehicles, we're being told, cannot pass through because of narrow roadways and alleyways. Made up of 10 men and 10 women, the unit was trained by using various obstacle courses at a police academy, as you're seeing right there. The 20-person unit in total is going to focus on a number of petty crimes, including harassment and theft. Okay, that's cool, but I was thinking, what if they have to go on rocks or something? What if they have to go on sand? I don't know. It's pretty cool. Good for them. Getting the exercise in a way, right? Something I need. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. We're going to hear why it's been difficult for many four-staters to schedule COVID-19 vaccinations.
The U.S. military strikes back after recent attacks on American forces. I'm Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. I'll have the details coming up.
As Oklahoma continues to vaccinate their residents, some in larger cities are realizing that they need to travel out of their areas of residency for an appointment. KOAM's Bronte Sorosky spoke with a Tulsa resident on why they needed to travel to Miami for their vaccine.
Oklahoma is getting ready to move into its next tier of administering the COVID-19 vaccine. But not everyone in the current tier has gotten their first dose. This is causing Oklahomans to travel across the state to get an appointment.
So as we post appointments for different locations, people that are willing to travel will find a place to travel to get those appointments.
James Thompson from the Oklahoma State Health Department says the state is posting appointments as they become available.
And so as we do that, we can't lock down to say only people certain residents out of certain counties can have access to those appointments. It's for Oklahomans.
This is how Tulsa residents like Anthony Jones ended up in Miami for his first dose of the vaccine. Jones works at a public school in Tulsa. Because he has so much face-to-face contact with kids on a regular basis, it was his turn to get vaccinated. But he couldn't do it back home.
So that was where the struggle came in. When I tried to find an appointment, the closest one was about 100 miles away here in Miami.
He says he doesn't mind the distance because he's able to get one step closer to beating the virus.
I mean, when people are getting sick, it's kind of important that you do whatever it takes to get what you need to help other people live, help yourself, stay healthy.
Thompson says that despite people traveling across Oklahoma, The state health department is doing their best to make sure that community residents get first priority.
One of the benefits that we have here in Ottawa County specifically is a lot of the tribal Indian healthcare also supports a lot of the residents here in Ottawa County. So they're vaccinating as well based on their federal allotments.
He says that when signing up online, all you need is Oklahoma residency or to work within the state. In Miami, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
State Health Department says because people who could not get vaccinated in their towns are getting vaccinated at today's site in Miami, they are protecting the state the best way they can. Federal government is giving an area medical center millions of dollars in a grant. The U.S. Department of Commerce is giving the Neosho Memorial Regional Medical Center in Chanute, Kansas, $2.6 million in a CARES Act grant. That money is going to be used to establish the Southeast Kansas Impact Center for Wellness, Education, and Business. Officials expect the new center to create 256 new jobs and generate $45 million in private investments. The Neosho School District today broke ground on an end zone facility north of Neosho High School. The facility is going to be 43,000 square feet and include locker rooms, concessions, restrooms, and indoor practice space, weight room, and film room. The south side of the facility is going to be completed in September and the north side in October. The $5.4 million project will be paid for through a ballot measure that was passed last June, also a $400,000 donation. Well, the legacy of a Joplin teenager killed in a car crash is carried on by his gym through the organization he helped create. Jackson Burge passed away in a 2018 car crash at the age of just 16. He was the inspiration behind the Bill and Virginia Leffen Center for Autism. He was also a client at Honey Badger Gym in Joplin. The gym recently created hoodies to honor Jackson on the anniversary of his passing, with funds going to the Leffen Center.
And the donation's completely optional. We made it completely optional for them, and the overwhelming majority of people wanted to donate and wanted to contribute to this cause because they remember what Jackson's legacy was and they want to keep it alive.
Sale of those hoodies generated more than $9,000 for the Leffen Center. Good job. Authorities in Newton County, Missouri say they have located 2 men who allegedly threw water bottles at vehicles on Highway 43. One of the victims took pictures of the suspects' vehicles, which helped authorities track them down. Both men were issued citations to appear in court in April. Researchers in China discovered 2 new genes they believe are linked to Alzheimer's disease. They say more study is needed, but they hope their findings could one day help explain what causes the progressive and irreversible brain disorder. More trouble for Boeing. The Chicago-based company is being slapped with a $5.4 million fine by the FAA. Boeing reportedly violated the terms of a safety settlement reached in 2015. The company must also pay an additional $1 million to settle a pair of enforcement cases. FAA officials say they have told Boeing over and over to prioritize safety and comply with regulations. The Biden administration issuing a warning to Iran overnight. The U.S. military launching airstrikes in Syria after a series of attacks. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more.
The U.S. military striking back at Iran after recent rocket attacks on American forces. Overnight, U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagles dropped 7 laser-guided 500-pound bombs on facilities used by Iranian-backed forces in eastern Syria. But not all the initial targets were destroyed. The U.S. military held fire at one location due to the risk of civilian casualties. Pentagon officials say the bombings a proportional military response.
To send a very clear signal that the United States is going to protect its people. These targets were chosen carefully, very deliberately.
The location that was hit is used by Iranian-backed Shia militias to move and store weapons. Officials say these militant groups have been responsible for rocket attacks targeting U.S. and coalition personnel. The most recent attack happened last week in northern Iraq, which killed 1 non-U.S. contractor and wounded several Americans, including a U.S. service member.
It sends a pretty clear message that, they attacked us, they hit and killed an American contractor, wounded American soldiers on one of our bases.
The U.S. airstrikes in Syria marked the Biden administration's first military action against Iran's proxy forces since taking office. But some Democrats have criticized the move, saying there's no need to escalate tensions in the Middle East.
The president is sending an unambiguous message that he's going to act to protect Americans, and when threats are posed, He has the right to take an action at the time and in the manner of his choosing.
The Pentagon says President Biden approved the strikes in Syria Thursday morning. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
A bit later, one of history's mysteries.
We may soon learn what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. There's a congressional push to open the secret FBI files. I'm Eric Shawn in New York, and I'll have that story coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a gloomy day for us today. A lot of clouds across the region and temperatures kind of chilly as we sat mainly into the mid to upper 40s for afternoon highs, but it's Friday. So we're heading into the weekend, and at least we're dry across the region. Most of us actually look pretty good. Here's a live shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. February, we're going to wrap that up here in a couple days, and if we look back at the month, the first week was pretty good. We were warm. The second week was awful. The third week was awful. But this week, pretty good. I know we've cooled down a bit over the past couple days, but still pretty good weather. 41 Nevada, 44 in Neosho, Carthage, 43, 45 in Miami. Chanute is sitting at 40 degrees. And we've had a southerly wind throughout the day. These are going to increase a little bit as we go into tomorrow, but this will keep our temperatures up just a bit. We've had clouds all day long, not much underneath the clouds, but these clouds will start to break up over the next couple hours as this wave is rolling off toward the east. And of course, we got another one building right behind it, which will start to affect us tomorrow night and then heading into Sunday. So we have the energy on top of us now, moving east, the energy dropping into the Pacific Northwest. That will affect us by the second half of the weekend. All right, let's go through tonight. Fog really building in through the overnight hours. So if you're going to be on the roadways late tonight or tomorrow morning, watch out for the fog. It will burn off through the morning hours. We break out. We see partly sunny skies by the noon hour, pressing 60. And then I think most of us into the mid 60s for afternoon highs, which is pretty good. 39 to start, 61 by noon. High temp is 66. South winds at 15 to 25. But also, this is 5 o'clock. Look how the showers are starting to increase. These are going to be a hit and miss. They're going to be light, but we're going to have on and off showers. And then as a cold front slides in, mainly after midnight, we'll get a little round of additional showers after midnight. These are going to pull east, but I think a lot of clouds are really going to stick around on Sunday, and we could even see a few random showers by Sunday afternoon. Rainfall amounts are going to be light. I think most of us, a couple hundredths of an inch, maybe upwards to a tenth or 2/10 of an inch. So not a lot of rain out of this system, but we'll get at least just a little bit. And of course, we're heading into March, so severe weather season is starting from about March 1st until June 10th. And we're going to have a slow start to severe weather season. This is mainly due to the Arctic air that we had over the past couple weeks because it dropped all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. It cooled the ocean waters down. So they're going to take a little longer to warm up. So we'll have a slow start to severe weather season, but by April, May, especially late April and May, we'll be in a moderate to high threat to have big severe weather events. So that's something we want to keep our eyes on. All right, 66 tomorrow, 50 on Sunday, 52 on Monday, back into the 60s by Wednesday. There's a chance for thunderstorms by Thursday.
66 for tomorrow. That'd be awesome. Just
yeah,
awesome.
looks pretty good.
Doug, thank you. Hey, look at this. A Czech free diver has set a world record in men's swimming under ice. David Wenzel swam the longest distance of 265 feet, holding his breath this week. In the category, free divers cannot use any fin, diving suit, cap, or weights. The previous record was 250 feet, set in April of 2013. That's according to the Guinness Book of World Records. It took Wenzel 1 minute, 35 seconds to set the record at a lake in northern Czech Republic. No, 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 especially no wearing a Speedo doing that. No, thank you. It's not for me. No. All right, coming up in sports is district championship night for McCully and College Heights basketball. If you like Speedos, that's okay. It's not for me. Plus, Crowder baseball opening up a top 10 series against Iowa Western. Jacob Leonard joins us with highlights next.
For the first time in school history, both the McCallie boys and girls are playing for a district title in the same season. On the girls' side, the Warriors have a chance to claim the Class 1 District 7 championship tonight in Lamar. McCallie on the floor against the Hume Hornets. The winner moves on to the state bracket. Early on, Kennedy Dury takes it in. Quick pass to Lily Black. Then Brecklin Morrison drains the corner three. She had 22 tonight for the Hornets. And McCauley takes it away here. Kaylee Teeter all by herself. Teeter really made shots when it mattered tonight. McCauley pulls it off in the end, 41-37. They are the Class 1 District 7 champions.
I am super proud of how we came back and just won that. I'm proud of the effort and the energy level that we had, and I think that we just have heart and that we don't want to lose. We didn't want it to be our last game. I think my work is eventually paying off, and I'm proud of it, and it comes from teammates too. I couldn't do it without them.
The College Heights girls and boys are both in the district championship tonight. The boys face Liberal tonight in Webb City for the Class 2 District 12 title. Liberal is the #1 seed in the bracket. Cougars trying for their first ever district title. Now, this guy, Caleb Schusnick, was out of his mind early on his birthday. Schusnick, 11 points in the first quarter alone, had 14 in the first half. The second quarter, nice cut from Hagen Beck, but Liberal up 33-27 at half. A huge third quarter for College Heights. Curtis Davenport, dude was a monster in the second half. Put back and the foul. Cougars go up 11 heading to the fourth. Davenport, team high 21 points. In the fourth, Miller time. Miller Long gets up, puts it down for the jam. He scores 19. College Heights gets their first ever district title, 69-45 over Liberal. The College Heights girls face Greenfield tonight. College Heights 22-2 this year. A good start for the Cougars. Lainey Lett working inside. Then it's Grace Bishop finishing in transition. 7-1 start for College Heights. They're up one after one, but it was all Greenfield from there. Ashley Daniel, easy two on the break. Greenfield goes on to claim the district title tonight over College Heights, 58-44. Joplin's Keaton Huff signs today to continue his football career at the college level. Huff is headed to Springfield to play football at Evangel University. He'll be a kicker for the Crusaders and hopefully get a chance to get on the field pretty early.
I would like to start day one. I'm okay sitting behind and learning for a little bit, but my goal is to start day one and be able to do kickoffs, punts, or not punts, but field goals and all that for them. So I'm excited to see the competition brings me.
Huff will join fellow Joplin Eagle Dominic Simmons as a freshman on the Evangel roster next season. Finally, some baseball. Big series starting today for 6th-ranked Crowder against 2nd-ranked Iowa Western. Now, Reavers get 3 in the top of the first. Bottom half, Crowder goes down in order. Stays 3-0. The top of the third, Western threatening with 2 on, but Zach Voss back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. On into the fourth now. Reavers able to add to the lead. This one gets through the right side. Runner scores to get the lead to 4. Crowder drops game 1 today 6-1, but they do bounce back to get game 2 13-3. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Some say it's the greatest mystery in American history. What happened to Jimmy Hoffa? Well, now there's a new move in Congress to find out by declassifying the Hoffa FBI files in the case. Fox News senior correspondent Eric Shawn takes a look.
The secrets of what happened to Jimmy Hoffa have been kept hidden for decades. The legendary labor leader, former president of the powerful Teamsters Union, vanished on his way to a meeting with mafia bosses in Detroit on July 30th, 1975.
The FBI has officially entered the case based on possible violation of the federal extortion statute.
46 years later, the case is still with the FBI, but tens of thousands of pages of documents, interviews, and reports remain blacked out, redacted by the FBI censor's pens. Now there is a new push in Congress to finally make the Hoffa FBI files public.
If this is part of actually solving this case, it would be fantastic closure for the family, for those who knew him and who loved him.
New York Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin says it's past time for the Hoffa files to be released. He has submitted what's called a mandatory declassification review to the Department of Justice to get the files out. It is a formal congressional request to pry open what still remains hidden. He says the truth about what happened to Jimmy Hoffa should finally be known.
This should have been released a long time ago. We have a process in our country once you get past 25 years or so that items like this should be declassified and released publicly. And here we are, it's been 45 years.
Zeldin is not alone. The Hoffa family and case experts want the facts unsealed. Former federal prosecutor Alex Little is one.
I think ultimately you will see these information, these papers being disclosed to the public. And I think you'll see that because this is the sort of crime, this is the sort of investigation that the public has the most interest in learning the facts about. It is important about point in U.S. history. It's an important point in FBI history.
Little says as long as any confidential sources are not compromised and other protective measures are taken, the Department of Justice can safely declassify what it has.
If there's information the FBI has, which I think would do the public some good, then it should be released. And I think here there's enough interest in the story and also interest in that period of U.S. history and how that crime played into what was happening politically that makes it the sort of crime, the sort of investigation that you'd want the public to know about.
I'm 40 years old, and throughout my entire life, I can't tell you how many times I have heard conversations around me of people talking about where Jimmy Hoffa is buried, who's responsible for his murder, and so many other unanswered questions. Many of those answers could be provided, certainly at the very least, critical clues in the release of the different items that we request in this mandatory declassification review.
It will take months for the Department of Justice to make a determination. But observers say once the information is made public, what happened to Jimmy Hoffa should be a mystery no more. In New York, Eric Shawn, Fox News.
Wow. All right, going to wrap up our night with a look at a new dark drama called Cherry. The new movie Cherry stars Spider-Man actor Tom Holland in a role unlike he's ever done before. Holland tells us about the experience as we talk with the star and his longtime collaborator, directors the Russo brothers, all about this dark new drama. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
I take all the beautiful things to heart.
Tom Holland leads Cherry, based on a bestseller about an Army veteran with PTSD who becomes a drug addict, then bank robber. Holland shared how he surprised himself venturing into new, darker territory.
I'm surprised that I didn't have a mental breakdown while making this film. I'd kind of planned that at some point while making this film, I'm definitely going to shut down. But I didn't, which was great. And I think that's probably because I had such a strong support system.
Directors Anthony and Joe Russo have worked with Holland starting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
From the moment he walked in for his first, Spider-Man audition to what we called rap on the last shot of Cherry, the growth arc is tremendous. He's got incredible range, and he just shredded himself physically and emotionally for this role. He lost almost a quarter of his body weight twice while we were shooting for different sequences in the film, and did a lot of work with ex-addicts and vets who are suffering from PTSD.
They say Cherry is told as a sort of visual anthology and call each chapter expressive in its own way.
We have kids who are all Gen Z, and they're the ones that most at risk for the opioid crisis, we think. We felt like that Gen Z consumes visual information at a much higher rate than any generation prior to them.
You're gonna make it through this.
We filmed it as 3 separate movies. So that made it much easier approaching each chapter differently and understanding the nuances.
And Holland says this movie was an experience he can use going forward.
It was about just being real and raw and authentic, and throwing away vanity gave me so much creative freedom as an actor, and something that I think I will continue to throw away for the rest of my life.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Cherry is in theaters February 26th and Apple TV Plus March 12th. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with a video of a polar bear cub playing with the snow and his mama. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.